That's funny. I wanted to. Yeah. But thank you. If you're standing up, I'm going to stand up.
Once I sit down, then I'm just bummed out.
The April 19, 2020 meeting of the City Council of the City of Springfield, Illinois is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk, if you please call the roll.
Will do. Will do. Alderman Redpath.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Fulgenzi.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman DeCenso.
Present.
Alderman McMiniman.
Here.
Alderwoman Connolly.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer. Mayor Langfelder.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, a quorum is present.
Thank you. The first item on the zoning agenda is docket number 2022-009 for the property located at 14 Island View Lane. Petitioners is Richard and Amanda Cooley. Present zoning classification is R1, Single Family Residence District, Section 155.016. Variance, requested zoning relief of variance of Section 9 regarding docks of Appendix A of the land use plan for Lake Springfield and its marginal properties to allow the construction of a new covered dock, replacing the existing dock and boat lift for a maximum of 50 feet from the shoreline at normal full pool elevation instead of the 35 feet as allowed. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval as submitted. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Maybe Alderman, you can answer this, or if the petitioner's here. How far out is the roof line going to go on the dock?
I can't answer that. Is the petitioner here?
Good evening. The length of the dock would be a 20-foot bridgeway, and then it would be a 30-foot, I'll say U-shape with the boat slip down the middle, so that roof would cover just that 30-foot section.
Is that what's covered now, do you know, or?
Right now, there's no covering on it. Right now, it's just a 34-foot dock that has no cover. So.
Okay. Very good. Any other discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open.
Well, this has got a new little gig going here. New little voting.
Yeah, the docket number passes, 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2022-015 for the property located at 800 South MacArthur Boulevard. Petitioner is Millbrook, Inc. Present zoning classification is R2, Single Family Duplex Residence District, Section 155.017. Requested zoning relief reclassification to R5B, General Residence and Office District, Section 155.021, and a conditional permitted use pursuant to 155.023C1. Conditional permitted uses in the R5B accessory off-street parking lots not on the same zoning lot as the use served, and 155.183 accessory off-street parking not on the same zoning lot as use served, and a variance of Section 155.480I1 and 3, landscape, screening, and lighting regulations, transitional buffer yard requirement, and landscaping to reduce the buffer yard on the south to 9 feet from 10 feet, to reduce the buffer yard on the east rear yard to 0 feet from 10 feet, and to allow a maneuvering area and drive lane as permitted item in the easternmost approximate 25 feet of the south buffer yard, and removing the requirement for landscaping and screening in that area, and 155.480K1 landscape screening and lighting regulation, site and parking area lighting requirements to remove the requirement for lighting. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is denial. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept standards of variation as in petition and grant the petition as submitted. Valid petition has been filed, so they would take 8 votes to pass this petition. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move to deny this petition in full.
Been moved and second to deny the petition.
Mayor, I would also just
discussion.
like to note for the record, it says it's Ward 8, that's actually Ward 6.
It's Ward 6.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Discussion, we do have someone signed up to speak on behalf of the petitioner. Then we have Kurt DeWeese that signed up to speak as well. Yep, great, thank you. State your name and.
Yes,
for
Gordon
council.
Gates on behalf of the petitioner. I recognize this is a hard one, guys. This is a difficult one. We were able to show to the Planning and Zoning Commission that the zoning petition that we have on file actually works and is the right thing to do for this lot. As you heard from the mayor, there's a whole lot of technical requests, but really what it comes down to is pretty simple. There's a vacant lot that's been sitting in the corner of Lawrence and MacArthur for at least 40 years. And we're asking that we be able to park somewhere between 5 and 8 cars on that lot. They're prepared to pave it. They're prepared to put up all the setbacks. They're prepared to put up the screening. They're prepared to put up all of the landscaping and make it an attractive spot. All of the technical variations that we talked about are really to make it more attractive. For instance, we've asked to waive the requirement that we put lighting on it because I don't know that we need lighting. It's in an intersection. There's a lot of street lights, and I mean, we'll be happy to put the lighting up, but we figured it would be more conducive to the neighbors if we didn't put the lighting. But really what it comes down to is we've got a piece of property that has been unused for more than 40 years, and we're trying to figure out a use for it that makes the most sense. Currently, as you know from the petition, it is zoned for either single family or duplex. No one is going to build a single family home on this lot ever, and that's not conjecture, that's proof of the last 40 years. Nobody's built one there now, and certainly they're not going to build one there in the future because the intersection itself is, first of all, it's busy. Second of all, as TJ Heaviside testified at the Planning and Zoning Commission, there are proposals in the works for changing the configuration of that intersection and probably end up losing some of the front yard and some of the side yard as that road is expanded. So we have a piece of property that, according to the law that this body has imposed, is unusable. It has been declared by the city council to be nothing. And I don't think that's what zoning is all about. We are trying to find the best use for this property, and I think the highest and best use clearly is as a surface parking lot to serve the business that's across the street. There's nobody on this board who hasn't at one point in time said that we ought to help local businesses, and there's also nobody on this board that hasn't said we ought to try to fill in the vacant lots. I know Alderman McMenamin is particularly vocal on this subject. We ought to be filling in the vacant lots in the center city before we start moving people out west. Well, this particular project serves both of those needs. So it's sort of a, put your money where your mouth is. This is a local business that has a $3 million payroll, annual payroll. It's in the building that's across the street that's been a business for at least 30 years. It was a law office, an insurance office. Now it's the business that my clients run, which is a home health care business. They clearly need more parking, and this lot is directly across the street. It has, as I say, it can't be used for what it's currently zoned. No one's going to build a house on it. No one's going to build a commercial property on it. I know the professional staff noted in their comments that this property is ripe for development, but no one will tell me what that means. Development as what? I'm telling you that the best use for this is as a surface parking lot, properly screened, properly landscaped. It fits everything that you guys say you want, which is it fills in a vacant lot, and it protects the businesses to to the west, which is commercial property. I know Mr. DeWeese is going to testify that we need to protect the residential nature of this area. I respect his position, and I'm glad he's here, but I would dispute that it is an established residential corner. Clearly, to the south, there's houses, but to the west, it is and always has been a commercial property. There is this business, then there's a business that used to be a dentist office, and then there's a strip mall. So this property is not in a established residential area. It is a piece of property that, if you deny this petition, will sit vacant again for 40 years, and I don't think that's what the zoning law is all about. The zoning law says that we used to talk in terms of highest and best use. This can't be ordered to be a vacant lot for the rest of its life. It needs to be something. We believe that based upon this intersection, this is what it should be, is a surface parking lot, not a big parking lot. Again, you have, I believe, a map.
Mayor, isn't the time up?
Yep. Oh, it sure is. That's fine.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
You want to wrap that up?
That's really it, guys. I think it's, I can talk for the next 3 or 4 hours, as you
We
guys
know.
know. I'm good at that. But the fact is, the biggest point is, this is a piece of property that has been rendered useless and valueless, and we're trying to make it have value and be useful. That's all I have.
Any questions for the petitioner?
I've signed up to
Alderwoman
speak,
DeSenza?
yes. When we talk about infill in our neighborhoods, we're not talking about parking lots. The neighbors have been extremely vocal about this. The plan you talked about for MacArthur, that's not finalized, because the neighbors have also been very vocal about that. So I am highly opposed to this. This is the third worst intersection in the city of Springfield. And what you're proposing is for people to walk across the street, where I've seen cyclists hit, where I've seen pedestrians hit, where I've seen countless crashes. It's a hard no. I've been very open with you. I've been very open with the business owner, who is also a Ward 6 resident. And this is just a hard no for me as a parking lot. So I respect your job and what you're here to do, but no way.
Any other questions or comments for the petitioner? Kirk DeWeese, if you'd like to step forward.
Yes.
I said if you'd step forward. So thank you for following my instructions.
They had the wrong name up there when,
Kirk DeWeese?
yeah,
I
no,
know
when
Kirk
Gordon was
DeWeese.
speaking.
I'm Kurt DeWeese. I live at 716 South Douglas Avenue. I'm the Vice President of the Historic West Side Neighborhood Association, and I hope you've had a chance to look at the written testimony that the President of our association, Carrie Becker, submitted. It's fairly detailed. The Neighborhood Association agrees with the staff of the Springfield Regional Planning Commission recommending denial of this petition because it is contrary to the city plan and presents a significant safety hazard. We also shared the concern of the city traffic engineer that any more intense use than the existing R2 zoning does not seem suitable for reasons of traffic and pedestrian safety, especially if and when the Lawrence-South MacArthur intersection is restructured. In a phone call, the previous owner indicated to me that the property was owned by the same family for many years. The parents of the previous owner, who are deceased, had earlier plans to develop it for family use. There was some consideration to raise fruit trees on the site. Habitat for Humanity inquired about its availability, but as the owner said, the COVID pandemic occurred and those discussions kind of dropped off. But at the family's option, the property was never really marketed for sale over the years. So there might have been a 40-year absence of development, but that was at the family's choice, that it wasn't really marketed. But they did get an unsolicited offer to purchase the property from the petitioner on behalf of Bright Star, because the proceeds from the sale, approximately $11,000, was considered important to the family to help finance a church-related fundraiser. The intention of Bright Star to only use the lot during normal business hours is not restricted by the zoning change and therefore not enforceable. They had talked about only using it during business hours. Traffic signals are not now pedestrian operated either. The school district does not use this as a crossing area. They usually will go down to Walnut if there's, or they have buses across MacArthur because it's such a busy street. The Neighborhood Association also agrees with the Planning Commission that the installation of such a parking lot is contrary to the City of Springfield comprehensive plans, and I just want to state what that plan says. The near west area states in this plan that the commercial areas are clearly delineated, what they are now, and should not increase in intensity. And redevelopment of any stable neighborhood, such as the historic West Side, specifically referencing the historic West Side, should be mindful of the character of the surrounding area and ensure that any changes in uses are consistent with that area. And Mr. Gates neglected to say that there are also residences to the north on South MacArthur, and most of the areas all along MacArthur are residential. There is an existing commercial use, but it is off of English and Lawrence. That's about it. There's the Hometown Pantry, and there was another business across the street from that that's now vacant, but there's no trend for commercial development along this street. So a paved parking lot would be a radical intrusion into this otherwise residential area. The proposed reclassification can easily be a precedent to devaluation and decline of the 800 block of South MacArthur and other areas. It would send the wrong signal to the people who live along those blocks. Thank you.
Any questions for the objector? Alderman McMenamin, do you have a question here?
No, not for.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Gordon Gates, is the petitioner here tonight?
No, I'm here as a representative.
Okay.
I can answer any questions.
No, just wanted a question. I just wanted to recognize the petitioner. He's doing some good things in the city. In particular, we had a good conversation a month or two ago about his purchase of the nursing home next to Hickory Glen. He's doing a major redevelopment of that property that's been vacant for about 10 years, and is bringing it back to life on the enhanced property tax rolls. But, and I explained to the petitioner why I couldn't vote yes to this. And I'm okay with, I pass that lot probably every day for the last 30 years, and it's always been a safety enhancement to the neighborhood to have that block empty so that when you approach that busy intersection, you can kind of see more from different angles. And furthermore, if this lot has been purchased, Mr. Mayor, and now the current owner is kind of sitting there with an unusable asset purchase, I think the city ought to consider purchasing that lot and beautifying that lot to the greater extent that it is right now with flowers, because what we and that kind of thing, because what we do when we accomplish that is we enhance the entire neighborhood. We make the entire neighborhood safer. We make all the properties, we enhance potentially the value of all the properties in the neighborhood. So there's no loss of tax revenue when we enhance property values for all the surrounding property owners. So that's an intersection that 20,000 vehicles pass a day in each direction. So if we got pride in Springfield, let's beautify a major intersection, just like we should do all over Springfield and all our gateways. That's not a gateway as such, but further south, it's a gateway. So I just want to explain my no vote. I respect the employer, the petitioner a great deal. Gordon.
Yes,
Go ahead,
Mayor.
Alderwoman DeCenzo.
I would just like to point out that I did talk to the real estate agent involved in this transaction before this was even sold, and told him that I would be opposed to using this as a parking lot. So the buyer did, and if maybe the real estate agent didn't pass that along to the buyer, I'm not opposed to the beautification idea, but I was very upfront with how I felt about this being a parking lot months ago. This is not a new notion. And Alderman McMenamin is correct. Mr. Miller is doing great work all around Springfield, and when we spoke, he understood where I was on this and what my position was.
And I respect that, and you have been open with me as well. The problem that I have, and I've been accused by my partners of only taking cases I can win, and this is a tough one. And the reason why I thought this was a case that could be won is because I literally don't know what else to do with this property. It is whether my guy owns it or the prior owner owned it, it has always been my position that zoning law cannot be used to render a piece of property valueless, and it is now. It is rendered valueless for the same reasons that Alderman McMenamin commented on and that you commented on. This is a busy intersection. There's no way anybody's going to put a house on this intersection. It's not ever going to happen because of the reasons you just mentioned. So that's what it's zoned, and as a result, the zoning code, as enforced by you people, has rendered this property valueless. And I find that to be troubling as a land use attorney. And that's why I took this case, because I believe that we have to find a way to use property in a private way as opposed to in a public way. Yeah, if the city wants to buy it, great, and put a park up there, that's lovely. But you can't order a private citizen to have his property be dedicated to a public use. That's not what we do.
Mr. Gates, very respectfully, that house, the Bright Star house, was my grandparents' house.
Understood.
So it was a residential use house for many, many decades.
But it hasn't been for 30 years. It has been a business, and behind it is a business, and behind it
But the
is a
notion
strip
that
mall.
it can't be a single-family home or a duplex is not true. It could be.
The only evidence I have to support my position and refute yours is that it hasn't been for 40 years. And we know from
Yet.
that,
Anything's
and nor has the lot to the north, kitty corner, it has also been empty for 40 years. So when we look at what property can be used for, we have to look at the history. How long has it been vacant? It's been vacant for 40 years. If someone wanted to develop it for a house, they could have done so. They would have paid more than $12,000 for it. I wouldn't live there. As you say, it's a dangerous intersection. I wouldn't want my kids playing in the front yard. Of course, they're 25 years old, so maybe I would trust them. But you're not going to put a house there. You're not going to put a duplex there. You're not going to put a commercial building there. So I don't know what to do with it. And
Okay, but we've talked about this now for 20 minutes, and I think it's time for a vote.
I'm just responding to the specific point that it is a dangerous intersection. I believe this is the least dangerous way to use this lot, and that's why we throw it out there.
Alderwoman Conley?
Thank you, Mayor. And granted, we've been talking about it for a little bit. And
Yep,
again,
I'm out.
I know, and I appreciate you're very passionate in your position, and I understand where you're coming from. I will say that I look at this lot and I see the addition of more cars slowing down and turning feet after one of the most dangerous intersections in the city. And I think it's adding an attractive nuisance to an area that we already know is dangerous, that we've already got Public Works working on to try to devise a strategy to make an intersection less dangerous. And I don't think that even a parking lot would do that. I think it would increase the hazards of that intersection. And I can appreciate.
More than a house? I mean, a house you could
Much
park.
more than a house. No, absolutely much more than a house. A parking lot, you envision cars coming in, going out, coming in, going out. A house, you leave in the morning, you come back in the evening. I mean, it's much less traffic. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I understand where
Don't
you're
need
going.
to apologize to me. I get it.
No, I'm sorry for your winning record. I don't anticipate that for this case. But I do appreciate the case that you made. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much. So just to clarify, a yes vote means to deny the petition. So you go ahead and cast your votes. Voting is now open. And the petition fails, is denied 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2022-016 for the property located at 1800, 1804, 1834, and 1836 South 15th Street. Petitioner is Humphrey Properties, LLC. Present zoning classification is R2, single family and duplex residence district. Section 155.017, requested zoning relief reclassification to S2, community shopping and office district, Section 155.031, and a conditional permitted use pursuant to Section 155.031C2, conditional permitted uses in the S2 accessory off-street parking lots not on the same zoning lot as the use served, and 155.183 accessory off-street parking not on the same zoning lot as use served, and a variance of Section 155.113 screening to permit the south property line of parcel 4 to be devoid of screening, in Section 155.480H1 landscaping, screening, and lighting regulations, parking lot landscaping, to allow the elimination of the parking lot landscaping requirement of points for parking lots having less than 100 parking spaces, and Section 155.4 or 155.480G1 and 2 landscape screening and lighting regulations, front yard, corner, side yard, and through lot landscaping to lessen points of landscaping to 0 on the front yard, corner, side yard, and through lot of the parcels, and Section 155.480I landscaping, screening, and lighting regulations, transitional buffer yard requirement, and landscaping to allow the elimination of reduction to 0 feet, the transitional buffer yard requirement on the east property line of the parcels and on the south property line of parcel 4. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval of the requested S2 zoning, the requested variances, and the requested conditional permitted use, provided that, number 1, a solid fence in compliance with code be constructed along the entire east property line, and number 2, the design of the parking lot is substantially similar to the parking lot shown in petitioner's Exhibit A as submitted with the petition and is satisfactory to the traffic engineer. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning
Second.
recommendation.
Been moved and second to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation with the additional requirements. And second, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open. And the docket number passes, 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is docket number 2022-018 for the property located at 525 Eastman Avenue, Lot 1, 2, and 3, and parking lot number 6, or North 6th Street and Keys Avenue, PIN number 14-220-330-012. Petitioner is Preservation, Inc. Present zoning classification is R3B, General Residence District, Section 155.018. And this is a long description, so bear with me. Requested zoning relief, Lot 1, a conditional permitted use under 155.018C2, conditional permitted uses in the R3B General Residence District accessory off-street parking lots not on the same zoning lot as use served, and 155.183, accessory off-street parking not on the same zoning lot as use served, to allow lots 2 and 3 of 525 Eastman to utilize the easement area and the ingress, egress, and parking on Lot 1, all of which is depicted in Exhibit 3. A variance of the parking provisions of 155.095F requiring at least 1 accessory off-street parking space for each 600 square feet of space intended for public use by reducing the spaces required to approximately 12 spaces. A variance of Section 155.114 to allow the location of accessory and off-street parking to be on the parking lot and not entirely on the same lot of the use served. A variance of 155.061 basic yard requirements for Lot 1 of 525 Eastman to allow the proposed south property line setback to be 0 instead of the minimum 7 feet for yard setback, and that the total of both side yards be approximately 14 feet 6 inches instead of the 16 feet required under Section 155.061. A variance of provision, Section 155.065, side yard for community facilities building for Lot 1 of 525 Eastman to allow the proposed south property line setback side yard, which adjoin Lot 3, to be 0 feet, and the total of both side yards to be approximately 14 feet, 6 inches instead of that required under Section 155.065. And for the boiler building depicted on Lot 1 in Exhibit 2, petitioner requests a variance of Section 155.068, garages of accessory structures to allow the proposed north property line setback to be 2 feet instead of the required 3 feet, and a variance of Section 155.480I, transitional buffer yard requirement and landscaping, which would eliminate the requirements of any transitional buffer yard related to the south property line of Lot 1 on 525 Eastman. For Lot 2, a variance of the parking provisions of Section 155.095B, requiring at least one accessory off-street parking space for each eight spaces or each 200 lineal inches of seating space in the main auditorium or assembly hall by reducing the spaces required to approximately 8 spaces, and a variance of 155.114 to allow the location of accessory off-street parking to be partially on the easement area of Lot 1 as depicted in Exhibit 3, and the parking lot and not entirely on the same lot as the use served. For Lot 3, a variance of Section 155.114 to allow the location of accessory off-street parking to be partially on the easement area on Lot 1 as depicted in Exhibit 3, and the parking lot and not on the same lot as the use served. A variance of Section 155.061, basic yard requirements for Lot 3 of 525 Eastman to allow the proposed north property line setback to be 0 feet instead of the required minimum of 4 feet. For the proposed south property line setback to be 6.2 feet instead of the required minimum 10 feet, and for the total of both side yards to be approximately 6.2 feet instead of the required 12 feet for both side yards of the buildings under 3 stories, and a variance of 155.061 allowing a front yard setback on 5th Street property line of 17.2 feet instead of the 20 feet required. Additionally, the parking lot on North 6th Street and Keys Avenue, petitioner requests a conditional permitted use in accordance with sections 155.018 C2 and 155.183 to allow accessory off-street parking lots 1, 2, and 3 on 525 Eastman, and variance of section 155.183C to permit the off-street parking to be more than 500 feet walking distance of the nearest entrance of the buildings on Lot 1 and Lot 3. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval as submitted. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is accept the recommendation of the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we accept the Springfield and Sangamon County Regional Planning and Zoning recommendation as submitted.
Second.
Been moved and second to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation as approved and second. Discussion, I don't know if the petitioner's here by chance. I didn't know if the property owner's here, but we appreciate his investment in Benedictine University campus.
I'm Patrick J. Sheehan III. I'm here for, Mr. Libri, who is the president of Preservation, Inc. Also got Pastor Eric Hansen here on behalf of Destiny Church. So he is available for any questions. I can answer any questions about the project, too.
Well, Pastor, if you'd like to come up, but we limit you to 5 minutes, of course. But we really appreciate your investment, and if someone has not been to the church just to see what they've done, the transformational of the structure of Ursuline Academy to Destiny Church, we really appreciate that investment on the north end.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not used to being on a timer, but I'll keep it short. Really appreciate all of the help that the city has been in making this historic place come alive again. To our alderwoman, Lakeisha, and to, of course, Mr. Libri, our deep, sincere thanks. We are very excited about the life that's coming back to Ursuline Academy, and that's all I have to say. So thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Good job, Pastor.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the docket number passes 9 voting yes, none voting no. And that concludes the zoning portion of our meeting. This time, the chair will recognize Treasurer Busher for a presentation of financial report.
Thank you, Mayor Langfelder. The corporate fund in the month of March had a beginning balance of $48,558,030. We took in total receipts of $13,072,965. We had total disbursements in the month of March of $8,719,672, which left the corporate fund with an ending balance in the month of March of $52,911,323. Mayor Langfelder, of that ending balance, your ARPA fund ending balance included in that was $14,587,007. This concludes my report, Mayor Langfelder.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. This time, I'd like to invite up Larry Luster from GR Consulting to update us on the recent legislative session. He's been hard at work. So we appreciate all your efforts.
Got them locks fresh on you, boy. I'll see you.
Good morning, or good afternoon, council. Good evening, council. First of all, I want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to represent you this legislative session. There was a lot that went on as quick as the legislative session was, but I feel like we were able to get quite a few victories for the city of Springfield, which I'm very excited about. Did everyone get a copy of our kind of summary or overview?
Via email.
You got it in your email? Can I pass these out?
I didn't get a chance to see my email yet, so.
All right.
Larry, I'll take one too.
Got it, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take one, Larry.
Thank you.
So yes, the session was pretty, it was a unique session with it being so quick, but like I said, I think we had a reasonable amount of victories. Not everything that we wanted, we won, but I think even within that, there were still quite a few victories. So I'll just kind of briefly go through this, and if you have any questions, I can either answer those individually, or I can answer them right now. So first, the tax increment financing district. During veto session, we were able to help get the Enos Park TIF and the omnibus TIF bill that went through unanimously. And this year, we were able to get the Madison Park Place SHA TIF that, again, passed unanimously, which will help the city quite a bit. CWLP, we were able to get a new $6 million appropriation for the carbon capture system that CWLP has that you all are familiar with. And also, we positioned Springfield with the governor's office in the Reimagining Electric Vehicle Act to be positioned to get some new investments from the state of Illinois. That'll come forth pretty soon. The governor will probably reach out, or his administration will probably reach out with some additional information about those resources that'll be forthcoming, so you can have electric charging stations in downtown and other places throughout Springfield. One of the bills that we really worked against was Senate Bill 3016, and that was a bill that originally there was a public act about 4 years ago. There was a law that was passed that ensured Springfield was considered for state jobs, and we all know that Springfield needs those state jobs so it can be that economic system that we need here in Springfield. So we were able to protect that bill. So Springfield was considered first anytime there were any new jobs that were going to be led by the state. We were able to get work with Senator Turner, and I believe she had a meeting with a few of you all as early as yesterday about $3 million, a $3 million investment for new equipment programs and training, after school program dollars, internship dollars, and summer job programs. So that was another $3 million that came in. $250,000 came into the Mid Illinois Medical District for, so they can staff up and have different developments that they're looking to achieve to help our region address the medical needs of its citizens. The state fairground, we are able to get some appropriations for facility improvement and also some tax exemptions for parking to help folks out. As far as law enforcement, we are able to get Springfield included in a program that puts cameras on the highway, so to help Springfield, the state, and the city, and all the various levels of law enforcement be on the lookout for drug trafficking, human trafficking, things like that. So there was some money appropriated there for that, and also some money appropriated for the co-responder pilot program, the initiative to ensure that there's social workers at when they respond to situations opposed to just police officers. We were able to appropriate reappropriate $15 million to the UIS Innovation Center downtown. The Sheriff's Association building is going to be transformed into some more classrooms for the University of Illinois, again, bringing some more of those folks downtown to help that economic center. Also able to spark some conversations around gaming. I know that there's an appetite to bring a casino to Springfield. We found out a lot of information from the chairman about the process, and also from the gaming board about the process and things that they would like to see. We're always working to ensure that we can lower the pension obligation for Springfield, because we know that's an important aspect of the budget. So worked with the Illinois Municipal League and other cities to lower that. We weren't as successful as we wanted to be, but we didn't put ourselves in a position where we owed more either. So broke even a bit. On the second page, what I provided for you is a sheet that just shows all the appropriations that Springfield received in the budget. There was two on here that I missed. I was looking through the budget a little bit earlier before I came here, and there was a $5 million violence prevention programming money that also came in. And Senator Turner will come in and have a separate conversation with you about that $5 million, what that will be used for. And then there was another $300,000 in infrastructure capital for some improvements on the east side of town, and some programmatic dollars there too. Are there any questions?
Any questions or comments? Alderman Gregory.
Hello? I just want to thank you. I think when we hired you, we really struck gold with you guys and your knowledge of the Capitol and working around. And, I just want to definitely thank our state senator for I had a conversation, earlier with that no part of our city was missed out in getting funds. And, we'll continue to fight for more and advocate for more, I should say. And, I just appreciate you and good work.
Thank you.
Alderman Donlin.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Lester, thanks for all your work. Something we talked about, I don't think it was even a year ago, that we needed a lobbyist, but the fruits of your efforts and others, and I would be remiss if I didn't, as Alderman Gregory did, thank Senator Turner. She obviously understands what it's like to sit in this horseshoe and have needs, and all areas of the city, as Alderman Gregory mentioned, benefit with this, what I see on this page, and including Ward 9, which is wonderful, but the heart of our city, areas that need the development, areas that need that infusion, and these are the types of things that can make a difference long term. So thank you for all those who supported this.
Any other questions or comments?
Good job.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all so much. Again, thanks for the opportunity.
Been very helpful having Larry there to watch the day-to-day activities, especially till the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate that, but special recognition along with Senator Turner, as Alderman Donlin said, it helps having someone at the State House that understands what goes on in our city, but also it helps all cities throughout the state. And then the other side of it is Representative Scheer was instrumental with the SHA TIF, which we really appreciate. That'll help the Pillsbury area and really change the housing dynamics, and that complements what's happening at Lanford High School and everything else, so it all fits together, and it really helps that those local representatives really understand what it needs, what the cities need to move forward post-pandemic. So we thank them for their service, and thank you for being over there watching every little thing that happens and keeping us aware of that.
Absolutely. Again, thanks for the opportunity.
Chair will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the April 5th, 2022 regular city council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council and first reading of ordinances in the record of this city council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda in the record of this city council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yep. Alderman Donlin.
as you know, Alderman Hanauer is not able to be here this evening, and he asked that I make a motion to send agenda item, which is on the consent agenda, agenda item 2022-155, which deals with the permitting of pools, back to committee.
Second.
2022-155,
Sir.
back to committee. And second, any discussion on that, or do I need to read that? Nope. Any discussion on that? All in favor to send that back to committee, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the pre-council reading, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Chair will entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage
So
with
moved.
the exception of
Second.
2022-155. Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open. And the consent agenda passes, 9 voting yes, none voting no. Agenda number 2021-337, 2022-146, 2022-147, and 2022-157 remain tabled or in committee. Is there any action on any of that? Next item on the agenda is 2022-123, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsible bid and authorizing execution of contract number PW 22-10-61 with F&W Lawn Care and Landscape Company for an installation of trees and planters in the downtown area in an amount not to exceed $640,564 for the Office of Public Works. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-123 on final passage.
So, second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Alderman Gregory?
So, is there a diagram where we putting these trees, these planters?
Of the locations?
Yes. Is it, I guess my question would be, is it the heart of downtown, or are we going across Capitol, or, around the, any other areas that would be considered downtown, Carriage House area, or Y Block area, anything like that?
Yeah, the area is second to 9th Jefferson to Jackson. So any trees basically that either are dead or have already been removed, we were looking at removing and replacing. The ones that are dead or severely damaged, or filling in, I think there were 84 spots that already do not have trees this time.
Okay.
And
That's the same area for the planters.
that's correct.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I can go ahead and I can share the plans with you that
Please,
that show that. I'll email that out.
I appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
Any other discussion? I didn't know if anybody's here to speak to this. Very good. All in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the ordinance passes, 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is 2022-142, an ordinance approving the appointment of Rabbi Lynn Goldstein to the Board of Managers of Oak Ridge Cemetery. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-142 on final passage.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Folks, oh, I'm sorry. Vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. Voting is now open. Okay, thank you. And the appointment to ordinance passes, 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is 2022-145, an ordinance to decrease the number of Class F liquor licenses by one and increase the number of Subclass 2 liquor licenses by one for Repcor LLC doing business at Click, located at 411 East Washington Street. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-145 on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
Discussion, Mayor.
Alderman McMinimum.
I got to reflecting about 3 a.m. licenses. I think the last time we had a 3 a.m. license was 6 years ago. It was for Wet Bar, and it was a close vote for Wet Bar. And it was a tough vote for me. Why? Because the owner of Wet Bar lived in Ward 7 on Isles. But I couldn't vote yes to it because there was kind of at that time, growing concerns about what we wanted to do with downtown, that we need to repopulate downtown, and that those that reside downtown might find the 3 a.m. activity incompatible with getting a good night's sleep for, if they're going to wake up the next morning. I remember Corey Jobe, he was on the council at that time, and he voted no to the Wet Bar application. And he felt so strongly about repopulating downtown at that time that he said the only TIF, that's downtown tax increment financing proposals, that he would vote in favor of would be to convert and rehabilitate housing. That was his opinion. He was very strong about it. So
I'm not Corey Jobe. Obviously.
yeah. So now we've got this, the 3 a.m. on request. It's a new additional 3 a.m. because it's an additional location for a 3 a.m. on Washington, and we've got the Myers building sitting there. And I've learned in the last week that another law firm is vacating the Myers building, that Giffen Winning law firm is vacating the Myers building. It's now below 30% occupied. And as we discussed last week, there is a contract to purchase the Myers building and then convert it to over 100 units of housing. And so the concern is that the difference between the old downtown was we didn't have, we weren't trying to reconvert to housing, but now we are. And have you ever tried to sleep in when there's conversations going outside the window? And I think that's the concern I have. We just want to make it a tolerable atmosphere. Not that there'll be problems every night, and even if folks are very moderate in their behavior, when you close a car door at 3 a.m. in the evening, and there's no other sounds out there, it can bounce around, and it's like a canyon in East Washington Street because of the 10-story Myers building. Folks, when they've had another 2 hours of activity in the bar, their voices are going to be louder than they would otherwise be, in my opinion. That's my experience at least. I talked with, by the way, Larry Luster brought up we're going to get some more money for the Innovation Center, and he mentioned that the Innovation Center is going to go into the Sheriff's Association building. The Sheriff's Association building is right next to where the petitioner would have a 3 a.m. bar. So there's going to be more students in that area going to, and it's not just going to be an Innovation Center. They're going to be holding classes there. And I was at a reception for the incoming chancellor of UIS, and I had a chance to talk with the outgoing chancellor, and I said, do you think it's a good idea to have a 3 a.m. license, a bar license, near where students are going to be? And she said, well, no, they're going to spend more money, and they won't be as prepared for classes the next morning. I just think the 3 a.m. has always been a problem, and I hope others on the council can recognize it for that. I think, a 1 a.m. is fine. Just keep it a 1 a.m., and I think we'll be better off. We've already got the 3 a.m. kitty corner to the Click, we've got the Alamo there, and there's a parking lot in between. The Alamo's trying to do as best they can to moderate their activity. As I understand it, Alamo now no longer accepts folks in after 1:30 a.m. Those that are there can stay, but they don't accept additionals. I think it's hard to take away at 3 a.m. We can't take away at 3 a.m. from the Alamo. They already got it. But I think we just should. There had been a consensus on this council when we had some of the downtown problems at the 3 a.m.s that we wouldn't do any more. And this is an additional location. So I hope we can do what's right for downtown here.
We are.
So any other questions or discussion?
Your monitor.
Oh, Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you. Joe, it's funny that you say that because the Alamo, they have worked with UIS to bring students out at nighttime and take them back home on a bus, and it goes to 3 a.m. So we're all responsible too, and I was a student at one point in time and was able to go out and wake up the next morning and go to class. Secondly, Mayor, could you explain how this process first started? And I just could I make an amendment to our motion? Click had agreed when Alderman Hanauer had mentioned it last week that after 1 o'clock they don't use the parklets and come outside to hang out, and they said they were okay with that. So I would, right? I want to make sure okay. They said they were okay with that, so how do we can we put that in there too before we vote?
Yeah, we'd have to, I'm not clear on the parklet timeframe. We'll check that out, but of course.
There are already restrictions on being outside at parklets.
We'll verify that, so
Okay.
I don't think it will take, I'm not even sure if you're allowed to have it be out on the parklet at 1 a.m. We'll have to verify that.
It is my recollection it is not, but we'll double check that. When you apply for the permit, it's like there are limitations, and it's either 11 or 1, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's already a limitation
Okay.
on that.
But just to clarify how we got to this point is Ryan Bandy, as some of you know, owned the station house, which is next to the ramp on 4th and Washington that the city owns. And that's coming down this week. Actually, will be completely brought down in May and leveled. But part of the agreement back when there's a development plan for that block is we asked him to relocate downtown with the understanding that we would retain the 3 a.m. So it's my understanding, Mr. Rabbi, I believe, was his bartender, and they had the agreement to carry that on. So that's how we got to this position. And the station house was located, like I said, right next to the ramp, which is about a block away, or maybe a block and a half, 2 blocks away from where the current location is of Click.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Well, just again.
Yes, Alderman McMeadows.
Alderman Williams is on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Williams. I'm still trying to get used to this.
I know.
Thanks for correcting me.
I got to do it next week, so I know what you're talking about. So on 3 o'clock, son, and I respect you, Alderman McMenamin, and I do listen to you and try to understand. So I don't know why we can't do both, because I hear from young people, they want to live downtown too, and they want it to be exciting, and they want it to be open to 3 o'clock. So not everybody that moves downtown or wants to be downtown is moving down there and thinks it should be like a neighborhood. Folks that want to live in a neighborhood live in a neighborhood. In some cities, when you move downtown, it's because you want the excitement. I'm not going to say you necessarily want the noise, but you want that young people activity feeling and that lifestyle of living in the city. But I think Springfield's downtown is arranged that you can have both environments. Maybe one end is where you have all that 3 o'clock, bars, whatever, and then as you get further down another end, it turns more into residential. It's kind of like what we just did with MacArthur. When I'm on MacArthur, South Grand on is commercialized. Going north, it turns residential. Same thing downtown. So I think that we have the ability to regulate this thing, that we have both living downtown for residents who like that downtown living but kind of quiet, and then the ones who are going to be by the bars and want that young people activity, living in the city, quote unquote, type thing, to have something for them too. And I just wanted to say that to explain my vote, because I just know I hear more from the young folks who want the 3 o'clock, who want that kind of activity, than I do from the people who want it quiet. And I just think that the way we're set up down there, we could have both, maybe on different ends or something. Thank you.
Alderman McMenamin?
Yeah, I agree with that. We want an exciting atmosphere downtown, but we don't need it between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. And from what I can see, the 3 a.m. crowd is a slice of a slice of a slice of the population out there. And I don't think we ought to jeopardize the larger slice because of a smaller slice. I mean, the larger slice is all those people that do have to get up at work at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. to go to the hospital, and that's the kind of workers we're going to try to attract at the Mars building, because that petition is for what they call working rent. That's like the rent will be set at a level that those that are on a modest income can work there. People on a modest income, I don't think they're going to appreciate the 3 a.m. activity. So I agree with you. We need to have some excitement, but I don't see why we have to have that excitement between 1 and 3 a.m. I think we need to be respectful of those that need to get a night's sleep.
Alderman Redpath.
You know, I don't support 3 a.m. licenses. We've had too many bad actors downtown with 3 a.m. licenses that I don't agree with. But in this case, I'm going to support this ordinance because these two gentlemen are going to be good business people. We need good businesses downtown to set precedent and show how a good business can be run. Ryan Bandy was a good business owner, and I know that these two young men will do the same thing. I think it's important to understand that by not using the parklets, that's the key to this whole thing. It's going to cut back down, and no matter what we say, Alderman Williams is right. There is a group that likes to go out late, and when I was law enforcement, we had worked all kinds of different hours. We'd go out at midnight, have to start at midnight sometimes because we had to work all afternoon. But the bottom line is that these two gentlemen are going to be good business owners, and I strongly encourage the City Council to support this.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman Redpath, you kind of summarized most of what I was going to say. And
Sometimes we think alike.
that is one of the scariest things I've ever heard you say. Like, full stop. No, but I'm excited to see this opening. We had a gap in our community when we lost the station house, so I'm really excited to see this expanding. We're not adding a new license. We're moving it a block. And I do understand where Alderman McMenamin is coming from, but I will tell you, when you talk about people with modest incomes, I'm not going to speak about myself. It's been a day or so since I've been out to a 3 a.m. bar, but my children who were in their 20s, and bless their hearts, freshly out of college, their modest incomes, they go to these, they go out, and none of them living in Springfield right now. I'd like to see us bring things that pull these 20-somethings back to Springfield, and that's an important crowd for us to build on. I'd like to have my 20-something children living in Springfield, and yeah, I know they'd love to go out. And I think we should be very careful to limit our concept of workers and what hours people work. We know that this is a flexible work environment these days. People are working remotely. People live in Springfield and their job is based in another country. I mean, we have a lot of flexibility now in where we live and how we work. So looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Won't be in there at 3 a.m., but I'm sure the people who are will be having a good time and being responsible. So thank you very much.
We'll be there May 21st.
Alderman McMenamin.
Maybe till 11.
Well, I just wish we could, regulate the parklets effectively. It's kind of an experiment, and now we're going to go into the non-COVID part of parklets when we use the parklets to kind of help the restaurants and the taverns, to say that somehow we'll have a regulation that says people can't be on the parklets at whether it be 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. is kind of a false dream without police enforcement. And that's what we've been trying to avoid with the 3 a.m.s, is to avoid our dedicated police officers having to come downtown and then be unavailable for the other areas of the city that need police help. And we've experienced that when we have 10 squad cars show up downtown because most recently there was a woman who said there's a firearm in one of our, I guess it was a 1 a.m., I don't know what it was, maybe it was a 3 a.m. We're trying to avoid those situations, and I think the 3 a.m.s is a problem for our city. And I think most residents would agree with that. They might not agree with it around this horseshoe, but I think if we took a poll of our city residents, our taxpayers, do you want another 3 a.m.? What do you think of 3 a.m.s in the city of Springfield? It would be a 70%, 80% would say, no more 3 a.m.s.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motions, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the ordinance passes with 6 voting yes, 2 voting no, and 1 voting present. Next item on the agenda is 2022-152, an ordinance authorizing execution of an agreement with Tanyanya, sorry if I mispronounce this, Hale, as Lincoln Library Outreach Coordinator in an amount not to exceed $47,000 from March 1st, 2022 through February 28th, 2023 for Lincoln Library. Chair will entertain a motion. Place agenda number 2022-152 on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the ordinance passes 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is 2022-153, an ordinance authorizing execution of a sponsorship agreement with and payment in the amount of $40,000 to Springfield J.C.'s for the Capital City Celebration to be held in downtown Springfield from June 30th through July 4th, 2022 for the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-153 on final passage.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
I assume this is not going to be a 3 a.m. Is that with the J.C.'s? Thank you very much.
Alderman Repcor.
I just would like to ask that they come back with a report on, tell us their expenditures. I'm concerned about the city side services on this thing. I know they got a vision on that, so I'm just asking you to come back and give us a report on this. That's all I need. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote yes.
Hold on. The director wants.
Oh, yep, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I just wanted to clarify with this ordinance that the CVB, myself personally, approached the J.C.'s for this destination event. This was in our FY23 budget as the ARPA initiatives. It was designated as a destination event. After consulting with my staff, DSI, and the Springfield Hotel Lodging Association, we came up with this celebration to get them back on their feet. As you know from their presentation last week, they have a game plan to be self-sustainable and move this forward. So the Bureau approached the J.C.'s did not approach the Bureau.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and actually, I approached them last year and asked them to resurrect the Capital City celebration with the goal of supplanting Lincoln Fest. So thank you for taking on that challenge. We really appreciate it. And again, what they told me after last week's meeting is that they're hoping to tie in all the fireworks displays throughout the city. So you can come visit Springfield, like we said, June 30th through July 4th and experience fireworks any particular night, and they'll help promote that and move forward with not only their festival, but tying all the activities with the city together. So thank you very much. And they're young people. According to my age, they're young. How about you, Alderman?
Very young.
You're all young compared to me.
That's truth.
So all in favor of the motion, or did we vote on that? All in favor of the motion, vote yes.
We've got
Those opposed, vote no.
2 people to speak.
Oh, Alderman Gregory. Sorry.
I just want to say, I support JC's. I continue to stand on, Scott, I know we've talked about this and you've done your thing up here and that's all fine and well, but I'm still disappointed in the perceived, unequal treatment, but I'm not going to take out, my disappointment on people who's going to have a event, downtown and have fun. We'll talk further about it. I'm gonna keep, fighting for the quality of the event. But I support JC and I support you guys, like I said. And but I stand in my disappointed of doing a little more for Juneteenth. So I appreciate you.
Alderwoman Conley?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, once again, thank the JCs for bringing this forward and also for the fact that you made it very clear that this is kind of your top dollar request and the plan is to reduce, if not completely eliminate, a request for city funding for this event. So I understand, COVID hit everyone's who did entertainment, hit that bottom line. So appreciate that this is your max, and we'll be going down from here and having a great festival in the city. So thank you, Mayor.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open. And the ordinance passes 9 voting yes, none voting no. Next item on the agenda is number 2022-158, an ordinance appointing Brian Mcfadden to the Springfield Economic and Community Development Commission. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-158 on final passage.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Redpath.
I'd like to consolidate 2022-158 through 2022-161 and hold it in committee, please.
Second.
Been moved and second to consolidate 2022-158 through 2022-161, or 160, yeah.
61, thank you.
162, was it?
No, 161.
And holding committee, all in favor of the consolidation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. I need to read this into the record, right? Or can we just send them back?
They're going to, you need to vote on the motion to send them or send them back to committee if that's the intent.
Yes, please.
Okay. So motion to send them all back to committee. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 2022-163, an ordinance amending Chapter 80, Section 80.08 A, B, and C, and Section 82.02A1 of the 1988 City of Springfield Code of Ordinances as amended pertaining to pedestrians on the roadways. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2022-163 on final passage.
So moved.
Been moved and second. Any discussion?
I was going to just simply
Corporation
make a
Counsel.
suggestion that I did receive this afternoon a copy of the letter from ACLU, and I was going to simply make the recommendation as an opportunity basically to review the materials, because I did just get this at like 4 o'clock, was simply postpone this for 2 weeks till the next council meeting, and I'll be able to give you a complete written response to the letter.
I'll make
And
that
again,
motion.
Second.
I think that's a prudent and proper thing to do, given that we just got it.
Withdraw motion.
Second.
Been withdrawn. And all in favor of
Postpone.
sending back to committee with the recommendation in 2 weeks and no further?
Do you want it to
Correct?
go back, Mayor, if I can?
Sure.
Just for
Alderman
point of
McDonald.
parliamentary procedure, Counselor, do you want it to go back to committee or be held at council level to be dealt with next?
I think it would be fine to hold it for action at the next city council meeting.
I'll make that
And
motion.
we'll
Second.
put together a written response or written information for you
Thank
to
you.
look at. Thank you very much.
So it's to be held at council. And second it, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-178, ordinance authorizing redevelopment agreement with WRS Legacy LLC for redevelopment assistance for the property located at 700 North 9th Street, utilizing Enos Park tax increment finance funds in an amount not to exceed $1.5 million.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Alderwoman Conley, sorry.
Sorry, Mayor.
I've got a whole bunch signed up to speak.
I think that's for
Did I
the
miss
last
that?
one. I just wanted to ask if we could get an updated report on the balances of the TIF funds.
Yeah, just a
Not for
precursor
tonight,
to
but just
this,
down the road.
this will be tax increment they generate through the project. But we will get that
Thank you very much.
information.
Mayor, I think those requests were from the last ordinance for the
Okay,
request
thank
to
you.
speak.
Yeah.
I got one.
Any other discussion? Alderman Gregory.
Can we also get along with that, with the levels of our TIFs, can we also get, just a status of updates of the projects that have, TIF agreements out downtown? And just where
Yeah,
we're at
we'll
on
do
those,
that.
thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Can somebody elaborate on this, particular agenda item?
Yeah, this is Springfield Electric. They've been impacted by the rail project, and so their warehouse will be built out, and this is I think the entire project's around $4 million plus, and the $1.5 million is the gap financing, and it'd be mostly paid, if not all paid, through the increment being generated from the project
Okay.
for future taxes. Corporation Counsel, you have anything to add on that?
Just briefly, this is the replacement structure. You may recall that the rail project took part of the property,
Right.
rendered part of the structures there not usable. This is a brand-new replacement facility that's tied to an expansion, as we understand it, with Springfield Electric, will be larger, more modern, and it is limited to only the increment they generate. So it's not taking monies from elsewhere in terms of the rest of the Enos Park TIF.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-179, ordinance authorizing a redevelopment agreement with BDP Springfield North RE LLC for redevelopment assistance for the property structure located at 2501 Marketplace Drive, utilizing Northeast Tax Increment Finance Funds in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-180, ordinance authorizing execution of a contract with Bank of Springfield and/or United Cerebral Palsy of the land of Lincoln for purchase of the land and all improvements situated at 130 North 16th Street and 1415 East Jefferson Street for an amount not to exceed $400,000.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Is there any unfinished business come before the council? Is there any, Alderman Gregory.
I just wanted to, just touch on our TIF. I know you had spoke on it earlier, and, you know, with all the movement going with, Pillsbury and things, which is great for our community, and we want to see that, you know, this TIF, you know, is going to help the rehabilitation of houses and things, and the community around us is really excited. I've talked to, some people that's really excited for redevelopment plans over there. So I just wanted to thank Representative Scheer, and the taxing bodies for finally getting us the letter, but we appreciate it.
Very good. And then, I didn't know if Scott Dahl had something else you wanted to comment on, or no?
Juneteenth has a presentation.
Oh, okay. If you'd like to come up. Or I don't know who's giving the presentation. If you'd state your name and address for the council, we'd appreciate it.
Shamika Kerr Gregory, 3021 East Carpenter.
Sharina Douglas, 4003 Pickfair Road. So, good evening, City Council, Mayor Langfelder, and to all the other citizens in the room. As stated, my name is Sharina Douglas, and I am here on behalf of Juneteenth Incorporated. We are an established business
established current nonprofit that has taken on the responsibility of organizing the Juneteenth celebration. I'm not sure who's running the slideshow. You can click, all right. So what is Juneteenth? We already know what it is, right? It started as a city holiday, then a state. We're gonna say they followed your suit. All right? Started as a city holiday, then a state, and then became a national holiday last year for us. Our major goal is to make, what will Juneteenth be? Juneteenth should be synonymous to the land of Lincoln. And where is that? Right here in Springfield, right? So when they think of Juneteenth, they should think of Springfield. It started here, right here with individual organizers in 1994. In 1996, One in a Million Incorporated took over the organizing of the celebration, and Springfield has had 20 years, over 20 plus years of a Juneteenth celebration. That means before the state and before the national holiday or acknowledgement, we were collaborating as a community to support it. So currently, where are we at? What is going on right now? We started a free-ish rally in the midst of a global pandemic because the importance of Juneteenth still rings true in Springfield. That is where me and Mika collaborated to establish what we are now as Juneteenth Incorporated. Currently, or where we started with Juneteenth was what people thought was a party in the park, but really is just recognition of the holiday, a two-day festival in Cox Park. We have now expanded that outside of the park. If you see from your handout, we are not just in Ward 2, we are also in Ward 5, and thanks to UIS Center of Lincoln Studies, Ward 1 is stepping in to support the Juneteenth celebration throughout the city. Right now is a 4-day celebration starting with 11 Amp, and then ending and culminating in the Cox Park. So at the Illinois State Museum last year, we had the first ever Black art exhibit. It was phenomenal, something that this area has never seen. I am born and raised in Springfield, a product of not just your guys' work, maybe more Redpath because he's been around for a while, but I am a product of Springfield. And I remember Illinois State Museum going there for trips, and from infancy to adulthood, before last year, the exhibit stayed the same. That's 20 years of, well, a little more than 20 years, but it's an extremely amount of time for nothing to change. The Illinois State Museum is making leaps and bounds to ensure that the area is, their museum is, as Scott talked about, a destination event, somewhere you're gonna come to Springfield and stay to do. And so why are we here? We are here because we want to show you that Juneteenth is more than just a party in the park. We've established a scholarship for Juneteenth, Mr. and Mrs. Juneteenth. They are representatives of what Juneteenth is. And Juneteenth is freedom and it's unity, right? Currently, in order to sustain what we are doing, we are pushing to revenue sales and corporate sponsorships, as well as food vendors in the park, and as well as the other parts of the event. So why are we here before you for City Council? We are definitely here to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the events over the years, because without the city support, we would not be here. We need this. Scott up here talked about a little bit in reference to the JC's event. Destination, that's what tourism is about, to bring people here to Springfield. Well, why do they come to Springfield, right? They sure don't come for a 1 a.m. party. Say that now.
Thank you.
They don't come for our nightlife. Right. They come for what that is right there behind you, because we are the home of Lincoln. How do we expand that? Let's be real. Lincoln is losing his prominence and his relation to current citizens. So how do we make him relevant to us? Juneteenth is very relevant. Juneteenth is the Independence Day for America. I think I told you guys this last year. 4th of July is a birthday. Oh yeah, we party on our birthday. That's the day when we were birthed as a nation. But Juneteenth is the day where everybody, black man, white men, can say we are free as a whole. Now, some of our partners will say we're still free-ish, and that's a debate we can definitely talk about as we move forward with this. But we want you to know that your support from the city is necessary, because as much as I love Springfield, It took me a while to get here. As Alderwoman Conley spoke of, this should be a place for 20-somethings to come. People should want to come back to Springfield. I can tell you I ran out of here as quick as possible because there's no nightlife. There's nothing to support me culturally as a black woman here, and there really was nothing here. The only reason I'm back, because of my job. State government is what's keeping a lot of people here. But what do we want to do? I don't want to just work. I want to live. And so supporting Juneteenth, making sure Juneteenth is it's a national holiday, but making sure this is the national place everyone comes, not just nationally, but internationally. UIS out in Ward 1 is going to make sure that happens. We need your support. What does that look like for you guys in your wards? It looks like increased business traffic. If we make this a destination event, they are going to come in and flood out the hotels. They are going to spend money. They are going to eat at the over 200 plus restaurants we have in this town. They are going to shop. They are going to go to history museums. Please know that we are expanding, and we took the torch from 1 in a million, and we are trying to run and blaze up the city. And I do mean that, because we want Juneteenth to be in every ward across the city. We want to see flagpoles, flyers about Juneteenth. We want to see people in shirts when it's coming, because they should understand how this makes us better. Lastly, I want to talk about culturally. If we can establish this culturally as a city event, things like racist police, racist business practices will start sprouting up and being weeded out, because they won't be able to hold strong in an area that understands that Black Lives Matter is not a organization, it is a phrase. Merely that alderman's lives matters just like yours does. Just like every part of this city needs support, so does this event, because this will increase the business and tourism for this city, as well as the cultural unity for this city. We thank you for your support. No, this is not the last time you're going to see us. We're going to come talk to you. We'll make sure that you are all invited personally to any receptions, private receptions we have. And we hope that you truly understand why Juneteenth should be Springfield. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any new business coming before the council?
We're up here to talk, Mayor. You got to look at your screen.
Oh, there you go. Alderwoman DeCenzo.
Oh, thank you. For anyone who wasn't able to attend the Noir exhibit at the Illinois State Museum last year, it was really, really something to see. And white people, I expressly ask you to go, because to walk into a room where you are the minority, which was the case at the Noir Museum, or the Noir exhibit, is something we should all feel, because we know that our Black brothers and sisters have felt that very often, and I think it was a very important event. I'm going to miss it this year. I'm going to be out of town, so I'm pretty bummed that I'm going to be missing that part of it, because it was an exceptional event, and it's something that we should all see and experience.
Yeah, it was a great exhibit in itself, and yeah, if you haven't seen it, you should go see it, but we should do that each and every day, right? I mean, I've been to plenty of events where I, kind of understand where the minority community comes from, because you're the only one in the room, and it takes a while to get accustomed to. But I've been doing it since my banking days, but it's something that we should get out of our comfort zone and, experience things. It doesn't matter where it's at, but try to get out of your comfort zone as much as possible and enjoy other populations of our community. Alderman Gregory. So thank you, Alderwoman DeCenzo. Alderman Gregory.
Thank you. I'll be brief. I just follow up on that. Ever since I've came in this office, I've always fought for Juneteenth to be, recognized, as a holiday, and really for our city to really kick in. Because I really, really, truly believe that, to complete the full circle of freedom, Juneteenth has to be celebrated the same. In a short conversation with Alderman Donlin, he reminded me of Frederick Douglass' words on 4th of July. And how others were celebrating, but, you know, there was a section of people that didn't feel the same freedom at that point in time. And, with that said, these young ladies have done a great job, and Mike Williams, now that this holiday is here, this city, I did some quick math, it's like $200,000 that this organization in 20 years, at a very minuscule 5,000 or whatever it was that we put together numbers wise, but that they have put into this in 23 years. I always say cut some of the years that I helped because without him I wouldn't have been able to hold it together until these young ladies I came up here and then they're doing their thing. So we owe you a debt of gratitude for holding it together, for holding this special holiday together for not only the East Side community and African Americans or Black people or however description it is, but this city entirely to really live up to the things that we tout highly with Abe Lincoln, and hopefully we can make it true. So thank you.
Any new business come before the council?
Yes.
Alderwoman DeCenzo?
Thank you. I just want to bring to everyone's attention that we have 5 Tuesdays in the month of May, and we talked about this last year. Maybe we want to move the Tuesday we're off to the 31st. That's the Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend. So just want that on everyone's radar because it came up last year. We're like, whoa, we can't do that. It's not enough notice. So this year, I'm giving everybody notice, making sure.
Kristen wants a long weekend.
I mean, it just makes sense. Let's do what makes sense.
Consider it the committee as a whole? Can they do that, Counselor?
Yes.
Or does it have to be a city council meeting?
If it's a committee of the whole, that makes it, we don't have to do an ordinance, but we would do an announcement and a posting.
Okay. Very good.
The city council meetings, you may recall, are by ordinance, or set the dates by ordinance, but with the committee of the whole, it's really a discretion of the committee, and a public announcement of a date and reposting would be sufficient.
Sounds good. Any other new business?
So what do we decide something just then about our meeting schedule in May?
Only if someone wants to make a motion, I guess, unless you want to consider it next week, next
At the
Tuesday.
committee meeting, if they'd like committee meeting, could reset it.
I'll bring it up again.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business? Is there anybody signed up, or anybody wish to address the council?
Yeah, Charlotte Johnson.
Oh, Charlotte Johnson? Oh, that's okay. Take your time.
Promise not to fall on city premises. Got it? Yeah. All right. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
Well, we'll decide after the second knee surgery. My name is Charlotte Johnson, and I'm the retired City of Springfield, Illinois, Office of Public Utilities, Regulatory Affairs Division, Projects Manager. So I actually worked for City Water, Light and Power for 33 years and retired in 2012. Started under Mayor Houston and retired under Mayor Houston. So I thought that was a really big deal. So I want to address systemic racism. You guys know I'm usually pretty quiet about that. But there comes a time when you just have to speak out. This is one of those times for me. So I guess what I want to remind you about is we've already proven that systemic racism exists in Springfield. You've had several mayors, Mayor Karen Sarah, to announce that when we had the Renata Frazier situation. She said that there was systemic racism in the city. And then after that, I was fortunate enough to participate in Mayor Houston's Crossroads program. Excellent program. I almost didn't participate in it because I was so close to retiring, but they asked me to, and actually I was glad I did. So, kind of emotional for what I want to say, but I'm in a unique position because I always worked downtown my entire career. I started out as a spokesperson. Actually, and I don't know that you all give enough emphasis to it, but Springfield is the largest municipal utility in the state of Illinois. And so when I started in '79, I was fortunate enough to be that spokesperson under Paul Bonasinger, who I have still high regards for this day. He was under the commission form of government. And can you imagine working for a 37-year-old engineer? Oh my God, he was so much fun and just respected. And what he did was he wanted to get educated young people. He just wanted to get the best people. And so I guess if you can look at it in certain ways, he was ahead of his time. Because we say we like change, but we don't want change. So he had won the race after Jim Henneberry, which I didn't know. I came about. I'm familiar with your ice storm. I was in Florida in college. And so I knew about it because I had family here. But Paul Bonasinger, can you imagine getting a job? And the only directive that he gave us, was to not do anything in green, because Henneberry had done everything in green, and don't put his name on anything. So very qualified for the job, but and I also like the fact too that I got that job answering a newspaper ad. So I was very qualified for it. So I've never felt that I owed anybody anything because I earned it. So I have through the years experienced systemic racism. But I'm just the type of person where I'm going to stand up for myself. Because respect is earned. And a lot of times, sure, I could have, especially when we came in the era of sexual harassment, I could have been in court every 5 minutes. But that's not who I choose to be. Because basically, my feeling is, And the way my daddy taught me is you stand up for what's right. And what you'll do is those battles will get less and less because people won't bring things to you. So I like to say that I was apolitical. A lot of you know, I just come, and a lot of us just want to do our jobs. We're always going to be aware of politics, but we just want to do our jobs. So I was very upset about the police situation, but it wasn't the first time. And so I guess what I want to do is, the main thing I wanted to say tonight is I always come back to the 1908 race riots because I'm not from here. I'm from Hot Springs, Arkansas, so I always have a different take on it. And what I'm thinking about now is how many times do we have to revisit this before we actually move forward? That's the question. Do you want to move forward? Because we can have all the monuments we want, but I'm past the monuments. I said, let's do a change. So that's what I want to see. And again, you've already proven systemic racism. I've experienced it numerous times. Car accidents, you come to the scene. How did two people come to a scene at MacArthur? I had an accident at MacArthur and Monroe, and nobody get a ticket. It's very interesting to me. And I will give Mike Walton a compliment, because when he was the police chief, I called him. And I said, Mike, how can two people enter the scene at the same time with witnesses and nobody get a ticket? So I do applaud him, because he ticketed the other individual 3 weeks later and took it out to her house. But you still keep fighting. We still went to court, had witnesses, and finally, I guess she decided, I'm not going to back down. Hey, I'm right across the street. You think I'm not walking over there to my court date? So those types of things have happened, and I think we can do better. And it's just sad that here we are in this day and time still experiencing this same thing. So I hope we will do something about it. And again, 1908, I think the monument is fine. But I keep looking back at the Martin Luther King and all the sanitation workers and everything. And as a woman, I have no interest in going back. And you can give us the jobs, but if you don't respect us in it, you haven't done very much. So for me, I advocate for a lot of women, but right now, if you discriminate against me, you actually hit 3 categories. I'm a woman, I'm African American, and now I'm 65. So I just want to see us actually make the real change. Make the real change. And I'll tell you something else too. Not like many of your other retirees. I've lived here for 40 years, 43 actually. So I want you to think about all of that revenue that I gave you. I didn't run away like your other retirees. I was 18 years in Arkansas and 43 years here. And as a single woman, there's a lot of taxes. So let's do better. In fact, let's do what we know is right. I just like to say, a lot of people don't know the golden rule is in the Bible. Treat others like you want to be treated. It's really that simple.
Well, thank you very much.
That's all I want to say.
Thank you for your service to the city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else wish to address the council? Is there a motion for adjournment? Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.
How are you? Hey, girl, how you doing, sweetie? Colored your hair since I last saw you. Good. How are you? I'm great. I'm great. Just in the, yeah, I lost a lot of weight. That was on purpose. Yeah. Well. That's not fair. You should.